All right, welcome everyone to Football Focus Weekly. I'm the Pet Man, Matt Morrow. We've been off for a couple more weeks, but we're back in the saddle tonight, and glad to be back. Just to give you guys a little bit of an idea of what's coming up. So we're here tonight, and then we'll be here next week, and then we'll be off July 10th. I'll be covering 7-on-7 action at Rocky River High School starting at 6 o'clock on that day. Then we'll come back July 17th and we'll officially start our normal show format. And that'll start with our area previews. And that night we'll start with Cleveland County. And then the next week, the 24th, we'll go into Gaston County. And then after that, on the 31st, we will preview another area. I'm trying to pull up my schedule here so I can speak accurately. The 31st, we'll preview Cabarrus County. August 7th, we'll preview Mecklenburg County. And then August 14th will be the show that you don't want to miss because that's when and I'm saying me because it's Pet Man, so I say this every year, Pet Man will predict every area conference in the metro area on August 14th. And that'll be a fun show. That's when I start getting all the hate messages from everyone who likes us otherwise. So circle your calendar for August 14th. And then August 21st, obviously we'll start our week one preview show. We'll preview all the games and things of that nature. As we get into August, we'll also talk about scrimmages. We'll tell you where some of the big scrimmages are, the ones you want to check out. We are not doing the CFI Classic Jamboree this year. Hopefully we'll bring it back next year. But we'll be covering a scrimmage or two during that scrimmage week of, I believe that's the second week of August there. So that just gives you an idea of what's coming down the line. But for tonight, we're going to start with, well, actually, we got a couple comments. Let's start with those. Let's see here. It is amazing how you are first on every show that we do, no matter when we do it, how much lead time there is. I'm seriously going to have to get you a CFI t-shirt. And I'm glad I thought about that, Kim, because I've got stuff that I need to give to dedicated viewers. So I'm going to set something up where you guys send me your information and I will get a shirt out to you one way or another, because there's some very dedicated people that watch us and support us. And I need to recognize that. So just remind me of that if I forget about it. Dude Burkett is checking in, says Jackson DB at Ohio State yesterday, at Tennessee today. Watch out. That is a great lead-in, dude. I thank you for saying that, because one of the things we're going to talk about tonight, I'm actually going to lead with it, is the top area, Charlotte metro area 2026 quarterbacks. If you guys didn't know that are watching this, I am a Prep Red Zone North Carolina writer, one of two in the state. And one of the things that I do is I write articles analyzing players all across the state for Prep Red Zone. And I'm just finishing up a series on 2026 players overall. So did this write-up on 2026 quarterbacks in the Charlotte metro area. I'll start with Jackson since he was mentioned. I did an interview with him as well, and if I would have thought about it, I would have inserted the video so I could have played it. But if you go to his social media, he retweeted it. It's also on my social media. If you go to the media tab and then scroll down, there's a lot of interviews there, but his is in there. I really enjoyed talking with him when I did. It was a couple weeks back during the spring practice tours we were doing. First thing about Jackson is he's 6'3", 190 pounds. He's been a highly recruited player for a while. He's got offers from a number of Division I programs that include Temple, James Madison, Connecticut, Pittsburgh, Liberty, Boston College, Charlotte, and East Carolina. So all those schools have offered him, and he's got interest from a ton of other schools. As you said, he was at Ohio State and Tennessee camps just the past couple of days. Last year, he threw for 2,170 passing yards, had 27 touchdown passes, and he had 7 rushing touchdowns on top of that. I love how well he can move and slide in the pocket with his footwork. And he still finds his receivers downfield. I always like quarterbacks that look to move to throw and not necessarily just take off and run, especially at the high school level. That demonstrates a higher level of competency there. He's got excellent arm strength to all areas of the field from the pocket, and his ball placement has gotten better with each season of his experience so far. And one thing about Providence, they're going to have some guys that he can throw to this season with Sirman Conde, Octavio Oliveira, and they got a couple other guys that are a bit under the radar. But he has some good targets to throw to. So I think he's going to have a really big season. And I think overall that Providence team is going to be one to watch. They may be a little bit under the radar, but I like what I saw when I went over there. You kind of have to talk about whoever's the quarterback at Providence Day, no matter what class they are, but they happen to have a 2026 kid in Zed Lott, who is, the real deal. And I've heard that from a number of trusted sources. And he's probably in this group the most heralded from a recruiting perspective. He's stepping into some big shoes, though. He's replacing Jaden Davis, who, is at the University of Michigan now, but obviously was one of the best quarterbacks in the nation during his high school time. But for Mr. Lott, he's 6'4", 200 pounds. He's got offers right now from Charlotte, Boston College, Florida State, North Carolina State, North Carolina Gardner-Webb, and Campbell. When you look at his film, it jumps off the page how strong his arm is. He delivers the ball with ease in his throwing motion. He shows the ability to make throws while being hit, which I thought was impressive, especially being a backup quarterback last season. So that was a quick flash of the talent that young man has. And he's going to be throwing to some really talented guys as well, including Gordon Sellers, who I wrote about in that 2026 series that I'm doing for Prep Red Zone. So he is another really, really exciting quarterback, and you're going to see him in the Panthers season doubleheader that they're having at the stadium, Bank of America Stadium here, Thursday, August the 22nd, I believe. So that's going to be a good matchup against Weddington. Y'all might get thrown in the fire going up against the 4A state champions. So really, really great matchup. We'll be excited to see how he does in that. Now I see Miss Cato. I appreciate that endorsement of what I was talking about, moving to throw the ball instead of just take off and run. But I'm going to talk about her son next, who is Chance Cato. And I think he's an under the radar prospect, but at 6'3" and 185 pounds, he's not going to be under the radar much longer. Really good size. He showed some really good growth last year in his first season as the starting quarterback for the Olympic Trojans. He threw for 2,207 yards and 14 touchdown passes. When you look at the film, I think he shows excellent ball placement on throws outside the numbers repeatedly against man coverage. When he throws the ball inside the numbers, I believe Chance shows good anticipation with his throws, and he places the ball with good touch in a position where his receivers can catch and run with ease. A lot of Olympic scheme is designed to get the ball into guys that are on the move so they can catch on the run and, pick up more yardage. I really like what Coach Thompson does with his team from an offensive perspective, especially. But I'm excited to see Chance. I know he's got a really great kind of a trainer in Anthony Houston, who we just put in the Harding Hall of Fame for his quarterbacking exploits that he did in the mid-1980s for the Harding Rams. So I think Olympic is another team that I think is a little bit under the radar. I think some people kind of forgot about them. They had some injuries last year that kind of hurt them coming down the stretch. But I really like what they have overall. I heard about some linemen in that program that we're going to highlight at some point here in the preseason as well. All right. So that's three. Those three are from Charlotte, and I've got three kind of outside Charlotte, but they're in the metro area. Patrick Blee, he actually came to our CFI Spring Showcase as a running back. Um, and he plays for South Point. So when you think about South Point, you think about the red bone triple option offense. Um, and he's the leader. He's the leader of that offense. And he had a dynamic season last year as a quarterback in that triple option. He ran for 1,178 yards and 15 touchdowns. 6'1", 205. He's most likely a running back prospect at the next level, which is why he came to our camp as a running back. But I tell you something, when you look at the film, it is incredible how well this guy runs the football from the quarterback spot. You have to kind of change your mindset because you're thinking this quarterback cannot be stopped, but it's an option offense, so that's what you want. He has a nice combination of speed and power as a runner. On those highlights that I mentioned, he shows the ability to run through tackles at the second and third levels of the defense. He does have the ability to throw. He throws it well on the run off of play action in their offense to keep defenses honest that come up and put 8 and 9 guys in the box to try to stop the run. And honestly, if he shows some explosive runs early in the season, he'll jump onto some college radars as a running back prospect to watch. So it'll be good to see, how he progresses, how strong his offseason was. He's also a baseball player, to my understanding. So that's where that ability to throw the football comes in. But he's a good player, definitely a good player. Brody Norman. I went to Mooresville. That was my first stop when I was doing my spring practice tours. Brody was the conference offensive player of the year last season. And when I walked up to him, he looked taller and stronger from what I saw previously. Now we know Mooresville has had a coaching change with Coach Zach Mayo coming in to be the head coach. Now Joe Nixon has moved on to be the Rowan County athletic director. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with their offense, if they open it up a little bit more and let Brody throw the football a little bit more than he did previously. But even last year in a run-first offense, he threw for 1,928 yards and 21 touchdowns. Incredible production. 5'11", 165 pounds is what he was listed as last year. But as I said, I believe he's taller and definitely added some weight to that. When you look at the film, I think he throws the football with excellent anticipation. He can throw well off of a number of play action fakes that they had in their run game offense. And really impressive is his footwork. He keeps his footwork in tune with his arm mechanics, and he's got a strong arm to push the football down the field. So another really good 2026 quarterback there in Mooresville. And finally, to finish up this segment, Land Farmer at Shelby. Impressive physical size at 6'3" and 230 pounds. This is a big year. Well, for all these guys, it's a big year going into their junior year from a recruiting perspective. For Land, he picked up his first offer from Charlotte in January, and he's got some other college interests from other schools. Last season, he's got some really impressive numbers here. We know Shelby will run the spread offense and throw the football, all over the field. Last year, he completed 65% of his passes for 3,400 yards and 44 touchdowns. That's incredible right there. As a sophomore, I mean, you should really think about that. That's crazy. And he led Shelby to the state playoff semifinals until they ran into that buzzsaw in Reedsville. When you look at the film, I think Land excels at reading coverage as a pocket quarterback. He's a true pocket quarterback right now. He delivers the ball on time with good accuracy. I think he shows excellent arm strength, and he completes balls to all areas of the field. Also, Land shows the ability to slide in the pocket, keep his eyes downfield, and make throws under pressure to move the chains. So that's 6 just in the metro area. Those are 6 really good class of 2026 quarterbacks. And of course, there are always going to be guys that step up that we don't know about that may be getting an opportunity because their previous quarterbacks either graduated or moved on to another program. So we'll keep an eye out for those that step up and shine as well. The one thing that we love here at CFI It's giving everybody a platform to shine. And if you earn it on the field, we're going to talk about you on the screen. So appreciate having the chance to talk about, those talented quarterbacks right there. All right. We're going to switch gears and we're going to talk about scheduling because there was a big story going on in social media. And well, before I get into it, I do have some help. The producer is here.
Hey man, it's like when you're getting beat down in the ring on wrestling, then the music starts up and help is on the way, man. Music came on, I had to run to the ring and help you, man.
What would your music be?
I can narrow it down. It definitely would have to be some kind of 90s hip hop, man.
90s hip hop. Okay.
I'm gonna go with Tupac, All Eyes on Me.
Good choice. Good choice. Mm-hmm. I don't know what mine would be. I'd have to think about that.
Ask the viewers, what would Pet Man's intro theme song be? There you go.
If you're watching,
let's see what
choose my theme song. You might see it next week. You know how we do.
Yeah.
I've already been to NWO before.
Very true.
Oh, what a crazy time that was. Oh, we have some comments. I'm scared to see what they are.
You got to screen them first.
Nikisha said Stone Cold Glass.
You can never go wrong with that. That's a classic.
Yeah, it is. But I don't know about that. Now, that doesn't fit me. Like I don't see myself coming into that. Like hard rock. That's not me.
It's gonna come to me.
Yeah, we're gonna think about it. You guys that are watching, keep thinking about that. Throw your suggestions out there. All right. Oh, and Nikisha says you're the mega producer. Well,
Mega. I like it. That's my wrestling name.
like Mega Man.
There you go.
Anyway, so this West Charlotte independent scheduling issue has been in the news and it's been on social media for people that follow Charlotte high school football. You guys have seen some of the back and forth going on there, but the long story short of it is both coaches were not involved in the scheduling of the game. And if you look at Charlotte Observer, both Coach DJ and Coach Griner talked to them about how everything went down. And, they both, appear to be, pretty cool about it. And the sentiment was both coaches did what's best for their teams. But, it's not normal. It's not normal you get into June and you lose a game in the case of Independence. For West Charlotte, they found the game with Cox Mill. So they're fine from a scheduling perspective. But when you look at scheduling, it's typically done years in advance, and you sign a contract and, you just move forward with, whatever the terms of the contract are. But, there was some, back and forth between the athletic directors and how they decided to schedule it. And then, the coaches, didn't agree. So it's unfortunate. It's a big game that, we grew up on, even when they used to play at Memorial Stadium. And there are two programs that are old Charlotte programs. And the bad thing about it is when you think about the old Charlotte schools now, a lot of those old rivalries aren't what they used to be because so many new schools have popped up and population has shifted, and some of the new schools are some of the really good schools now. And traditional Charlotte schools are struggling a bit, and it's disappointing.
Yeah, that was a big deal back in the day. I can remember before I started playing football, going to West Charlotte and Independence and Memorial Stadium. So that was a big deal, back in the day. Well, Memorial Stadium games, period, were a big deal. But yeah, I can remember that was a huge crowd back then. But like you say, rivalries get a little watered down when you start adding in schools because it was probably half as many high schools back then.
Oh yeah,
as it is now. So, but hopefully going forward, it's something that can be avoided. maybe contracts need to just be a little more detailed to just account for some of these things. Just a little more language in the contract to account for things that maybe coaches or ADs could come up with that down the line. Just maybe a little more language might be needed, but hopefully it can be something that can avoid it. You don't want to be left a game short, 2 months before the season starts. So
right.
Hope it's something that can be avoided in the future. Maybe there's got to be a solution there.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, since they're not playing in the regular season, one of the things that we did with the CFI Jamboree last year was, Harding and Berry, they don't play, this season either in their schedule because of the change for Harding to go to 3A in a new conference that changed their schedule. So they don't have an opening to play Berry. So they played in the Jamboree last year to keep the rivalry going. That won't happen this year, unfortunately, but I don't know what both teams' preseason scrimmages look like, but maybe they can scrimmage. To try to, number one, kind of work out that social media angst that's going on.
Settle it on the field.
But yeah. I mean, it would be nice, but I don't know what their scrimmage schedules look like. But either way, typically that scheduling stuff gets handled way early on, and you don't see this. The last time we saw this kind of thing was during COVID, where if you remember, it was literally like teams were dropping games because they had a breakout on their team. They couldn't play, and we were trying to schedule games literally the same week, which you think about it now was so insane.
But yeah, just like popping a game in there, just random, just boom.
Yeah,
making calls. Who can play this week?
I mean, literally posting on Twitter and tagging people, and even we got involved in making a couple games happen.
But most of the time, surprisingly, it usually worked out. I don't remember every Friday coming and they couldn't find a game and just had to take an extra bye week. It usually worked out.
Yeah, it usually did work out. I mean, so luckily, well, not so luckily, but we're used to dealing with some of these scheduling issues, and hopefully Independence can find a game. As far as I know right now, they haven't found one. I know they were talking to some out-of-state schools, but hopefully, I mean, if you're watching this, they have a week 3 opening, and week 3 for North Carolina is, make sure I get the date right, September 6th. So that's what they got open. So if you're free, you're available, reach out to them. And
I'm pretty confident they will. I just got a good feeling.
I hope so. Okay. Let's see. We got a couple comments here. Miss Cato says appreciation and respect for you. Oh, well, I appreciate that. That's well deserved. It's well deserved. We talked about her son. She was one of the quarterbacks I talked about earlier. Chance, really good kid. Let's see. Austin Location says Huff the best team in Charlotte. Oh, be careful, Austin. You don't start something.
Making bold claims. Well, it ain't that bold. There's really not, but
they're definitely one of the best.
Yeah, somebody, certain people would have something to say, but it's not outrageous to say.
Yeah. If you missed it, I shared our show schedule. August 14th, we'll be doing conference predictions for all the Charlotte metro area. Well, I will be. I keep saying I don't want to put y'all in it, but I will be making conference predictions for all the Charlotte metro area conferences on that date, and we may do a little preseason poll. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. I don't know how much controversy you want to stir up.
You know how I feel about controversy. We won't get into that right now.
Yeah, how do you feel? Well, tell the people.
Controversy creates cash.
I need a lot of controversy.
That's all I'm going to say, man.
Oh, man. Jonathan Mitchell says, what Austin said. Well, I figured you would agree with that. I figured you would.
Yeah, Huff is always right there in the conversation. They're perennial, powerhouse in the area. So I
Oh
get it.
yeah, man. There's a lot of talent on that team, for sure. So I mean, I understand why people would feel that way. Um, that reminds me, I want to talk about something I didn't promote. I'm gonna put it up on the screen here. Bear with me 1 second. Okay. Um, so it's starting to come out that the conferences are doing their media days, and they've done this for the last couple of years. The Southwestern 4A Media Day is going to be July the 29th, which is a Monday, in the afternoon at Rocky River High School. And then these conference names, they always trick me up. Oh goodness, I'm tagged in it. Let me make sure I say the right way because I don't want to get in trouble. It is the Queen City Athletic Conference Media Day. Is the next day, July 30th in the afternoon at Mallard Creek High School. I plan to be at both media days. I think this is a really good thing that they're doing to allow the kids to meet with several different media outlets, get questioned, they take pictures, um, all that kind of thing. We obviously didn't have anything like this when we
Are the
played.
entire teams gonna be there, or just like
Selected players.
okay? I thought so.
So it's like usually 3 or 4 players per team, and then the coach. Now it's been different setups. So the Southwestern 4A Media Day, they do each team gets a few minutes at the main podium, and then the coaches that are there after that kind of come up and they do like a group coach question session. Um, and I thought it was really cool, and it was one of the better moments of that session last year when Coach Hales and Coach DJ. I asked them a question about um, player movement and transfers, and Coach Hales kind of made a joke about DJ when he transferred from Olympic to Independence. It was a pretty cool moment. But in general, what do you think about these media days? Is there any negative to them, or you think it's all a positive thing?
I can't think of anything negative unless unless someone got up there and just made something crazy. I think it's only positive, only exposure, good exposure. I think recruiters out there, college coaches, they do because talking to the media, especially if you go to a big program, is a much bigger thing than it is in high school, and they probably want to see how you handle yourself. Um,
Yeah,
with the mic in your face, with the cameras on, how you conduct yourself, how you articulate your answers to questions. I'm not saying it's the end all be all because we know there have been great football players out there that didn't interview well, but
hmm
it can only be a nice little plus if you can get out there in the spotlight and carry yourself well. I think it definitely checks a box, and I think it's something like most kids do. They want to be big, and that's gonna come with the territory. Talking to the media, so it's good practice.
yeah, and I think it's really important, not only for that reason, but think about the era we're in now with the NIL era. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it is something that you can definitely use to market your skills from that perspective because literally that's what you do with NIL. You're going to
Mm-hmm.
go out and promote a business on the next level or promote an opportunity, a service, whatever it may be. And if you can show yourself being personable and having the ability to speak well and communicate, that makes you more marketable. So
Definitely.
I think these media days are great for that practice, and I think in the future it's going to become a way for players to leverage themselves and market themselves to businesses who might want to provide them with the platform to gain an NIL opportunity. So honestly, it's something that I'm watching really closely because with what we do at I like to give players that opportunity to, have that, the opportunity to say, okay, I know how to articulate, I know how to sell myself as a player. So I know I can sell your product, for example. So we know the private schools in North Carolina, have the NIL opportunities now, but public schools don't have it yet. But I think this is a branch that comes off of that NIL is the ability to practice speaking in front of the media and doing it the right way. And in a situation where if you mess up, it's okay. It's not going to be a huge issue or anything. Like, no,
Nah,
I don't think any of the media here are going to, do anything.
you might get a little feedback, but nothing embarrassing. Just kind of someone might pull you to the side and give you a little feedback or
Yeah.
a better way to answer that or just some suggestions. But yeah, it'll just nothing serious.
Yeah, so I think it's a great opportunity. It's a win-win. And the biggest thing for players, and I tell them when I interview them, one-on-one, whether it's on here or when I go to a school, let your personality show. Don't be a robot. Everyone knows you're a kid. Be you. That's the biggest thing, man. So I'm excited to see the kids once again at the media day. The SOMEC conference hasn't announced their media day yet. Last year they did it at Palisades. So we'll see when they do theirs. And then we may do something as well. I was kind of trying to put something together in my mind for the schools that aren't represented. And there's a lot of schools that aren't represented with media days. So we may put something together, an opportunity for them coming up here pretty soon. All right. I'm going to table the wing tee versus spread conversation that I wanted to have. I'm going to wait till we have the full coaching group to get their opinion on that. I'm going to jump to an important topic for a lot of us. I was excited, and we kind of touched on it briefly a little while back, but not really. It was kind of at the end of the show. I want to have a more extended conversation about EA Sports, NCAA college football video game. It's back. It's coming out July 19th, July 16th if you get the 3-day early access or whatever. And it's also coming in a bundle with Madden. So if you buy both games, I believe it's a discount. It's like $150 if you buy both games, and you get some stuff to go with it. Well, first of all, what do you think about this?
Really looking forward to it. It's been a long time coming. I used to play a lot of Madden back in the day, in the PS2 days. But then once I really got accustomed to college football, I was actually more on college football, the college, than the Madden. So before it left, I was playing much more college football than Madden. Just I like the dynasty modes, recruiting, and all that. So I think it's great. I hate it took 11 years to work things out.
Yes.
10 years. But I'm glad it finally got worked out. So I'm looking to see how it's modernized and grown. I'm hearing they're gonna have obviously the NIL. That's gonna be part of your recruiting in the game, in the dynasty modes. I'm sure they had transfers back in the day in the old games, but I'm certain the portal will be a bigger deal now because transfers are, when you got kids before they finish college transferring sometimes twice. So college, the portal will be a much bigger deal. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm hoping it's a great game. So definitely I'm looking to see how it's evolved because the landscape of college football has changed drastically since the last game. That's for sure.
Absolutely. So if you want to know about the game, you can just kind of Google EA Sports College Football 25. It'll take you to their main website. Of course, they do have the dynasty mode that a producer just talked about. There is the transfer portal in there. So that'll be exciting to deal with. They got Road to Glory when you're a student athlete. You create yourself and you can take on the Heisman, and you got your other stuff you can do to be a part of that. And of course, they got the Ultimate Team, which I hate. Honestly, it's where they just continue to make money off of people in a game. I'll never play that.
I never really messed with that too much.
Yeah, me neither. And then they got a Road to the College Football playoff mode where you can just kind of jump into the playoff and try to get into the national championship game. So the biggest thing that I like about college football, and I kind of played that and Madden about the same. The cool thing was if you had a draft class in college football back in the day, you could take that draft class, put them into Madden, and then you could continue those guys' careers in Madden. The sad thing is they don't have that now. It's not going to be in the new game because of licensing issues, of course.
They can work that out. It's the first year back. Maybe they can add that in for
yeah, maybe, hopefully.
EA is known for holding things back and then putting it in as a new feature down the line.
Yes, they are.
So,
or they bring or they have something in a game for 2 years, take it out for 3, and then bring it back as a new.
It's EA we're talking about. So.
Yeah, so a lot of people that really love Dynasty Mode love taking schools that aren't good and trying to bring them up into a level of their being really good. They have a lot of fun with that, with the recruiting battles and Dynasty Mode. That's a
great question because I was thinking to myself, because the game comes out next month. I was like, as far as Power 5 college football goes, I'm a Florida State fan. Well, I don't know. I don't see that as much of a challenge as keeping Florida State good. So I said I have to. I got about a month to come up with who I want to use in Dynasty. I need to find somebody that's just mediocre at best, someone that's never in the spotlight. I might I don't know, choose like Wake Forest or something. Just someone.
No, don't say those schools. Now we got good relationships now.
No, I'm just thinking somebody that wasn't in the playoff hunt last year. Somebody that's national titles, man. I got to think of somebody to use, man.
Well, think about somebody out west. We don't really got no relationships out west.
Not yet.
Oh man, I used to use Idaho. That was my team back in the day.
I can see that.
Yeah, it was pretty tough. It took a lot of years. And the biggest challenge now is when you have these schools and you get a couple really good players. Now it's going to be hard to keep those guys because the transfer portal works both ways. You got a really good player you develop, and then he wants to go to a bigger school and get into the spotlight. I am going to be mad when I find me like a little 2-star guy and I develop him into a star receiver and then he leaves me to go to Alabama.
That's funny. And I heard from people, I read a couple like impressions from people that have played the game that the difference on the field between a 2-star and a 5-star will be immediately noticeable.
I saw that too.
Yeah. You'll definitely be able to see the difference right away.
Yeah, so that's going to make, taking those programs and trying to make them good even harder, which, it should be. Kansas was another team I used to use, and Kansas used to be really bad, man, but I got them to be really good. But now,
that's the challenge. I mean, probably picking somebody, like you say, outside of the Power 5 will be the
group of five schools. Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know. I got about a little over a month to come up with something.
Yeah. So if you guys watch and you want to do a little CFI league, I'm not against it. I used to run Madden leagues back in the day. Granted, I had a lot more time. I wasn't doing all this. But we'd be open to it because the college football game. Yes, it's about playing games, but it's even more about, like you said, the recruiting and roster management and all that stuff. And, it doesn't take a ton of time to do that. With Madden, you're always kind of playing games, and that kind of thing. So going to the comments, Kareem Chavez Lopez says my song should be It Takes Two, Rob Bass.
I mean, I won't dispute that too much, man.
If it was a 2-man show all the time, maybe, but
yeah,
it's not. But I like the effort. I like the suggestion there. Jonathan Mitchell says he's going to use App State.
I can see that.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people around that, probably went to these schools. Like Charlotte's going to be in the game. They weren't, a program back in 14. So that'll be
Yeah,
pretty cool.
there was a list of like 10 that weren't in it. I know Coastal was one of them that weren't in the
that's
last
another
game.
one. Liberty's another one. Yep. So that'll be a pretty cool experience for them to, have their program in the game and be able to play with them. And Austin said he thought about Boise State, all the blue field.
That'd be cool because they haven't been as in the mix as they were like 10, 15 years ago to kind of bring them back.
Yeah. Yeah, good deal, man. Well, who else has a weird? I think Eastern Michigan has like a gray field. Have you seen that field before?
Eastern Michigan. I was thinking brown or something like that.
Or is it Western Michigan that has the brown field?
Maybe it's Western. Yeah, something like that.
I gotta check this out. Let me see here.
Some school in Texas, I can't remember. They were complaining because the second level of their stadium wasn't in the game, and they were mad.
Well, that's
big deal.
Yeah, Eastern Michigan has a gray field.
Gray?
Mm-hmm. Hold on, let me put it on the screen.
Well, you should use them and see how many.
That should be like a facility advantage.
See how many 5-star receivers from Florida you can get to Eastern Michigan.
I'm sure it's not that many. There you go. Can you see that?
Yeah, it's pretty cool looking. There you go, man. You got your school, man.
Eastern Michigan's my school.
Then in the league at the last minute, I'm gonna switch to Florida State and come through there and put 70 on you. Nah,
thanks.
I won't do that. Nah,
yeah, that's a great field. That's something. There's somebody. I think a D2 school has like a red field.
Somebody, yeah, I remember that too.
Like, is it Washington? Somewhere in Washington, I think.
No, I gotta look that up.
Man, that'd be crazy.
I wonder if it would get annoying to look at after a while, though. Like it'd be cool.
I'm sure it would. I'm sure it would get annoying.
Yeah, Eastern Washington has a red field.
Eastern Washington, okay.
It's actually it's funny you mentioned that. I Googled red football field and an article came up the 5 ugliest college football fields in America.
What are they?
It's just ugly. It's just different.
Oh, wow. That is really red. Wow.
Eastern Michigan, Lindenwood Stadium. It's like alternating stripes between red and white.
What?
Yeah. They listed Albertson Stadium, which is Boise State. The alternating one was Lindenwood University. Central Arkansas has purple and gray stripes.
Yeah, Austin mentioned Central Arkansas.
And then it mentioned Coastal. I don't agree with that. It's not bad.
Yeah,
Coastal is like
not that bad.
The green. That shouldn't be there.
So look how red that field is.
Yeah, that's
good gracious.
It'd be cool at
Who
first.
would want to play on that?
Yeah, I feel like be a little weird after a while. Like the first few minutes, it might be cool to look at.
Yeah. So we'll do one more. So Austin said Central Arkansas. Let's pull up Central Arkansas. I know you're here for high school football, guys, but hold on.
High school players go to college, so hey, this is connected.
Central Arkansas. Oh, wow. Are you serious? Do you see this?
Nah, I'm still looking at Eastern Washington.
Look at this.
It's not up there.
Oh, wait, my bad. Hold on. Look at that.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's the stripe one. That's weird looking.
What in the world? There's no way. I don't
know why. Who thought that was a good idea?
I don't know either. I mean, good gracious! Like you get epilepsy trying to watch the game.
That's a no. That is a no.
Oh man. Okay. Well, once again, Wait a minute. Chris says, check out SUNY Morrisville. They have all black field.
Okay, we got to see that.
All right. All right.
One more.
One more. Oh, man. This is SUNY. Where am I tab?
State University of New York. Look, I didn't even know they had football.
Oh, wow. It is black. Let's see. Okay.
I think I'm just so used to some shade of green. Anything other than that, it's going to take a while to use.
That's crazy, man. I didn't even know about this one. Look at that.
Wow.
I bet. I mean, that might not be that bad, though. But if their jerseys are black, that's wow.
That's true. They're going to like camouflage.
Well, Austin has a good point here. It's going to be hot. It's definitely going to be hot.
That's true. I was thinking that's going to.
I'm glad it's in New York. Good gracious. All right. So all that being said, we're going to finish up the show. Tomorrow I'm going to be at Montgomery Central High School, which is in, I think it was Troy. I think that's the town. They're having a big 7-on-7. I don't know if it's a tournament, but it's a big 7-on-7 thing from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. I'm going to take pictures. I'll try to get some video, and we may do a couple of interviews if we get the chance. Coach Metzger at Montgomery Central was nice enough to invite me out there. So we got Scotland County, Forest Hills, Cardinal Gibbons, Lee County, Southern Lee, Southern Guilford, and Montgomery Central all in attendance there. So it'll be exciting. I'm going because those are schools that I like. They're talented, and I don't get to see that often, obviously, because being in the Charlotte area. I'm going to see some schools and get a good idea for how those guys are looking. I know there's a 7-on-7 at UNC Charlotte tomorrow as well. And I know they had one session at North Carolina with 7-on-7, and their colleges are going to have their 7-on-7 sessions now. So you're going to see some video of guys going out there doing some good stuff. Winston-Salem State has invited me to 2 of their 7-on-7 sessions. I don't know which one I'm going to go to yet. I know there's one on June 19th, and then there's another one, I believe, in July. So one of those I will go to, and I'll also be at Johnson C. Smith's camp, which is next Saturday on their campus. So we'll be out and about doing a lot of different things from a coverage standpoint. We'll also continue to do the articles on Prep Red Zone. And we'll be back with the show next week. And one of the things we're going to talk about next week are CMS inequities on athletic facilities. Something that, unfortunately, I know very well, being a supporter of Harding. So we'll be back next week to talk about that. We'll talk about the wing tee versus the spread, and a couple other topics that we got in the on the docket. So for the producer, Brandon Black, I'm the pet man, Matt Morrow. You've been watching CFI with Football Focus Weekly. Thank you for watching. Have a good week. Enjoy the NBA Finals. And we'll see you next week.